Hello everyone, today I am going to conduct an experiment in order to understand the factors that affect a capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor. Let's start our experiment by introducing our materials I am going to use. First of all, I will use a bunch of paper and wood and air as a dielectric material. Then I will need 3 different size aluminum plates to construct a capacitor. Then it is not shown in the figure, but I will need a ruler in order to arrange different distances between plates. Then I will need a multimeter and cables to measure capacitance, and finally I will need a polycytherian in order to fix parallel plates. Before I show my setup, I want to talk about the physical background of my experiment and my expectations from the experiment. As you can see, by the formula that represents the factors that affect the capacitance of a capacitor, I expect there to be linear relationship between the dielectric constant and capacitance. And again, there should be a linear relationship between capacitance and areas of the plates. And I expect the distance between parallel plates is inversely proportional to the capacitance. Before I talk results and errors of my experiment, I want to show setup and steps of my experiment. Here is general setup of my experiment. Now let's look at the steps of my experiment. Here I am investigating the effect of plate areas on the capacitance by keeping other variables constant. Here I am investigating the effect of distance between plates on the capacitance by keeping other variables constant. And finally, here I am investigating the impact of the electric material between plates on the capacitance by keeping other variables constant. Now let's look at our results. As we expected, the relationship between experimental capacitance and the electric constant is an almost linear relationship. Again, as we expected, the relationship between experimental capacitance and areas of plates is an almost linear relationship. And when we look at the relationship between distance and experimental capacitance, we can see that their values are actually inversely proportional. So in general, I could make such a comment that the data we obtained from the experiment is verifying this formula. Now let's look at the errors. These are my error percentages. These errors have occurred because first of all, the capacitor I constructed is not ideal. I mean, the distance between plates may not constant along with the plates because it may be tilted. Secondly, the materials I use are distressed. Hence, it prevents reaching ideal values. Thirdly, the dielectric materials are not pure enough, so it is also an obstacle to reaching ideal values. Lastly, there are some measurement errors due to humans, such as the distance between plates may not be calculated precisely. These errors may be reduced by using brand new materials and using more pure materials and measuring distance and areas with more sensitive tools.